All right, we are on.
Hello, my name is James,
My name is Sean.
and today we're going to be talking a little bit based off of just the experience that we're having with Dogecoin. Mind you, beforehand, we are not financial advisors, so don't take what we say 100%, but take what we say at least 25%, based off of just the experience that we're going through ourselves, like you might be going through it yourself. Not only will we be talking about Doge, but we'll also be talking about pro wrestling a little bit. So this is a combo of stocks and pro wrestling.
A little bit of
Uh,
everything.
yeah. Now, how long have you been mining Bitcoin and Dogecoin and all this?
So I got actually a weird story about this. I started Dogecoin mining in 2013. I had a wallet, and I probably gained. It was only worth $3 at the time in 2013. So I started mining it. I thought it was a joke. It was $3. I didn't know what to do with it, and the wallet's gone, never to be found. So that wallet probably has a good amount of money on it right now.
So then you could compare it to like if you've ever seen The Big Bang Theory in that one episode when they were all thinking they were billionaires because of Bitcoin shooting up,
Hmm.
and then they find out that the USB flash drive that their wallet was on basically was lost a while ago, and no one is a millionaire at this point because they don't even have the flash drive.
Yeah, so be careful with these wallets, these cryptocurrency wallets. Always make sure you bring. I always have the password. Always have. There's. If I don't know if you ever made a wallet before, but if you
Uh,
have, they do 7 to 8 step authentication. Well, it's like a 2 step authentication, but you got to know. There's like questions they ask you. You got to know the questions.
yeah, the security questions.
Exactly that. So I don't have those. I don't have the address. There's money out there somewhere, and it's not with me.
Damn it! Think
Yeah.
about it. Where would you be if you actually remembered where that wallet was?
I mean, at the time the coins were worth 3 thousandth of a penny.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like right now, had you have had it, think about where you'd be.
I'd have a
That much
couple.
closer.
I'd have a couple extra bucks. I mean,
Exactly.
probably have, I don't know, couple, maybe 100. I don't know.
And what app do you use for you personally? What app do you use, Sean?
I'm no longer mining the Doge. Actually, I used to have a Doge wallet. I think it's like DogeWallet.com or something. I haven't used it in a very long time. I use
But
it.
you're invested in still crypto. So what app do you really use right now?
Yes, so I'm using Robinhood to pick up all my stocks and cryptos. I have some extra cryptos that I'm working on. I like the Raven coin as well. So I started mining it. I got a Raven miner, etc. I mined a little bit of Ethereum. So everything's looking bright.
Okay, yeah, because for those that don't know, Ethereum is an altcoin. It's basically an alternative to Bitcoin. And Ethereum last year, I mean, I could be wrong a little bit off,
Mm.
but at one point last year, Ethereum was at something like 100, 150 a share. And then within 1 year, it shot up to like two or $3,000 a share on
Well,
Robinhood. So,
the
with
weird
that being said,
the weird
go
thing
on.
about these though, they're not really like shares.
I
They're
might be using the wrong
they're more
terminology, yes.
Yeah, they're more. It's kind of weird because Robinhood makes it like it's a share because you
Yeah,
can't move it in and out of a wallet, but it's just a coin.
yeah,
That's the weird. But they all just have a value as if it's a stock or.
yeah.
It's always just it's just so strange. They haven't opened it up. Robinhood has it not opened up yet. This way, so now right now you can't take any of your coins out of Robinhood and move them onto a wallet as if they're not like you know, they're not there, but you do own them. You're able to sell and trade them for USD.
Yeah, and with that being said, also, uh, I apologize, Sean,
Oh, you're good. You're good.
but what I was going to say is talking in crypto, you're like you said, you're on Robinhood, and well, I am also invested in Robinhood, and it is just Robinhood is just this one way of investing. There's many different wallets out there, many different crypto wallets, and I mean, you can go on Coinbase, pretty much anything, but I prefer Robinhood because that's what I've been dealing with.
Yeah,
And it's and unlike other wallets where you might have to pay like a subscription to some of them, Robinhood you don't pay anything outside of whatever the cost is for the coin.
that's pretty solid. But yeah, we got a couple coin tonight. There's, hopefully this will go big.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, tonight is Saturday night, and Elon Musk, co-founder of Tesla, will be hosting Saturday Night Live. And recently, he bought like something like a billion shares of a billion coins of Dogecoin.
Mm,
So with that, that influences, and it's a good influence because he's a celebrity influencer. So with that being said, more people are going to follow with what he does.
yeah,
So that'll actually help out a lot. Now, whether or not he talks about Dogecoin or not is a different story. But with that being said, he's still going to be the host, and if he does, we'll see how it goes.
that's true. We need like a figurehead for a coin, and he's just the one.
Yeah,
It's like,
and if you're not a believer about Dogecoin and you think Dogecoin was made just for a meme, which it was originally, it was just made off of a meme.
mm,
But if you're not a believer 100%, I suggest you buy in because I'm going to give you an example. I mean, everything is its own thing in stocks and crypto. Some may go up, some might never go up, some might only go up a little bit. But if you look at the way like Ethereum and Bitcoin started out, people weren't trusting it at all because it was a new form of currency and people weren't trusting it. But if you put all your faith into it and patience, yeah, it might go down, it might tank at one point, but as long as you don't pull out and you keep in, I mean, this is my philosophy.
mm,
Everyone's got their own, but mine is as long as you don't pull out 100% of it. I mean, you can pull out like $10 here, $20 there, $100 here,
yeah,
but as long as you don't pull out entirely, and you always keep a large amount of shares, as I call them, or coins. Um, as long as you keep a large amount of them, one day it will shoot up, and you will see a significant difference. So I believe in the stay in and never pull out method until it reaches unintended.
So we got, all right. So I got a little topic. We had a little rush. I think it was 2017, 2018. There was a crypto rush. This is the start of, not the start of Doge, but this is the start of, hey, Doge is starting to get a little bit of extra value.
Yeah,
And but then there was a crash. But then we came back. They came back, and you know,
yeah.
it
Well,
might
in
just be
stock,
consistently crashing and coming back. You never know.
but the difference between cryptocurrencies and real
Yeah.
stocks is that real stocks are companies. You risk one day them going out of business and then losing everything. With
Mm,
crypto, it may crash and go down horribly, but as long as you don't pull out and you always keep it in, you will be making a return on it eventually. It's not a real entity, so it's not like it's going to go away permanently forever. It may go away for like 2 or 3 years, but at the same time, you will be making that money back trifold over time.
that's true.
May take like 5 or 10 years, but hey, 5 or 10 years, you'll make much more than you thought you would.
That's true. I was hoping. So I looked on YouTube, and I'm hearing everyone in the comments and all these videos. They just keep saying hold, hold, hold. I think I'm gonna, for the most part, I'm gonna hold the main amount that I'm gonna put in that I put in already.
Yeah,
So we'll just keep holding out and see if it. That's where the real money's gonna come.
exactly. Now, with that being said, um, speaking a little bit about pro wrestling and combining it with the topic that we're talking about, Doge. Uh, yes, let me answer everything ahead of time for the smart marks.
Mm.
Wrestling is a predetermined thing. It is no way fake. Because when I hear the word fake, I think, hey, they don't feel a damn thing, that it doesn't hurt. It's not like you're not really hurting each other. Uh,
These
the
guys,
idea,
I mean, they do
the
amazing things though. They take shots all day.
yeah, and I've been a referee for 6.5 years prior to this pandemic, and let me tell you, I've only taken maybe 3 or 4 bumps as a referee. Bumps are when you fall on your face or back for a move.
Mm.
And with that being said, with that being said, like I said, wrestling's not fake in the least. You feel it. Yeah, it's predetermined. Yeah, ahead of time, the wrestlers know who are going to win and who's going to lose. But at the end of the day, you still feel it. It still feels like a car wreck at the end of the day. Um, but to move on past that,
Mm.
um, to connect it to what we're talking about with Dogecoin, there's a wrestler currently on WWE's NXT brand named Cameron Grimes, who recently bought into Dogecoin. And yeah, it might just be a gimmick, but hey, every celebrity influencer influences the way things go. And he supposedly, again, may be a gimmick, may not be, he supposedly became like a millionaire overnight on Dogecoin. So in a way, he became richer than the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, former WWE star.
Mm.
Whether or not that's a gimmick that they're running with is a different story. But still, if you're a wrestling fan and you see that a wrestler collected Dogecoin and became rich over it, that's going to really entice you more to purchase some Dogecoin. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say, to make a long story short, go right out ahead, whether it's Coinbase, Robinhood, wherever. Go
Mm.
right out ahead and purchase some Dogecoin. Like I said, don't look at it if it goes down as, oh man, I lost money. Look at it as, oh man, it went down. I can buy more for less. And then when it shoots up, which it will, I guarantee, whether it's 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever, it will shoot up. So you do not want to lose your account or anything, like any info you need to log into your account, because one day within the next 7 to 10 years, maybe even less,
Mm.
that will shoot up. I promise you that. I mean, look at Bitcoin, look at Doge, look at Bitcoin, look at Ethereum. They shot up. I mean, it may have taken a while, but look at Bitcoin. Back in February of 2011, they were a dollar a share. And now look at it; it's somewhere in the neighborhood, sometimes 50,000 to 60,000 a share. It will reach there. May take a while, but it will reach there.
Mm. I think they definitely needed a figurehead because I know, like I don't know, the other big ones don't really have a figurehead, and I know Ravencoin is kind of based on I think it was based on Game of Thrones,
Yeah, I think so too.
but there's still no figurehead to that. There's no one pushing it really. There's just
Yeah, no face of the coin.
the only one pushing it is the community, who usually mine it or buy it, which that's cool too.
True.
But that's not gonna push it enough. We need a person. We need a figurehead. We need someone pushing it. That's it.
Exactly. Exactly. But at the end of the day, right now, we have Elon Musk for Dogecoin. So what I say is follow I mean, don't follow 100% with what he says, but follow at least 85%, 75% to what he says, enough that it will influence. Because trust me when I say this, I'm not a financial advisor. Sean is not a financial advisor.
Definitely not.
We're only using experience on our side. We have no prior knowledge based off of anything else but experience. But off of just experience alone and what we're experiencing the same as you is that it goes up when someone like Elon Musk, someone higher up in the food chain of celebrity influencers, starts buying it because you see him as a positive influence. So you want to try and mimic him, and that makes you want to buy more. So go right ahead. Do you and the rest of the community a favor and buy as much Dogecoin as you can because one day it will shoot up.
Hmm. I mean,
And he,
it's hard to tell him to buy it though. I mean,
I mean,
we can
I mean,
only really recommend, like,
yeah.
we can't tell him. We
I'm
could
not. I'm not saying buy it if you to for the sake of buying. I'm saying if you want to, if you are interested, then purchase it.
maybe
If
look
you're
at,
not
yeah,
interested,
like look into it.
yeah, if you're not interested, then don't worry. There's other ways of anything. So
So
just if you're interested, go right ahead. If you're not, no worries.
that's true.
Seriously, if you're interested, then buy it. If you're not, at least do your research. At least do us
Yeah,
the favor and do your research.
always do your research with everything. It's like all these brands I'm getting into, I look into them as thoroughly as I possibly could, knowing what I know, which isn't really much. But hey, if I like their idea, what they got going on, I'll get into them.
Yeah,
But
do your
that's
homework.
absolutely.
Like always back in school, whether it's college, high school, middle school, whatever. Always do your homework on whatever you're researching.
Mm,
Whether that's crypto, whether that's stocks, whether that's a company, whether that's a car, whatever in life. Just do your research on it heavily.
everyone's looking to
And
make money, so
well, yeah, but at the same time, just do your research and then go from there. If you buy it, you buy it. If you don't, you don't.
true. So
I'm just trying to not so much waver it for anyone or influence it for anyone. I'm more or less just trying to give advice more than just telling you buy it, buy it, buy it. Because I'm not. I'm only saying if you want to, go ahead. If you don't, then don't even worry about it.
that's true. So,
Well,
what do we have on the wrestling for tonight?
well, tonight is Saturday. Last night was SmackDown, Throwback SmackDown, the first ever Throwback SmackDown of its kind.
Mm,
And with that being said, it was a complete disaster, in my opinion. I mean, I'm a die-hard wrestling fan. I've always have been since the age of 3. And if you're
mm,
gonna do like an old school SmackDown or an old school Raw, build the sets, the stage to look like modern, like old school Raw or old school SmackDown. I mean, they tried to do it with a CG fake fist on the screen,
mm.
but because if you don't know what I'm talking about, SmackDown from 2003 to 2008 had a fist coming out of the stage, and that was like the main prop, the main focus point of how the stage looked, the entrance
I
stage.
see.
And many fans, when they heard Throwback SmackDown, like me, many fans were excited because in the past, all we've ever done was old school Raw or Legends Night for WWE Raw, and it was all right. I mean, it wasn't anything spectacular, but it was all right.
Mm.
So when we heard Throwback SmackDown was going to come, we thought, hey, they've got the fist in storage, saved in
Let's just pull
storage.
it out.
Exactly. Load the truck up, set the stage up, and set the show up. But what we got was modern day SmackDown with CG,
Mm.
computer graphic fist. So it just looked terrible. I mean, The only real difference between modern day SmackDown and what we got was just the graphics on the stage was old school WWE Legend logo, and the microphone cube around the microphone was just an old school WWE logo. Made no sense whatsoever for the rest of the show. I mean, the show was boring. I didn't even watch it.
So who is actually starring in the show? Who came on that night? I actually didn't end up watching it.
Well, you had former WWE SmackDown general manager Teddy Long come back, which I actually realized. I don't know if many fans realize this.
Hmm.
WWE normally doesn't induct into their Hall of Fame referees normally, but 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was 4 years ago, they inducted Teddy Long into the Hall of Fame because he was a general manager of SmackDown and Raw at one point. And if you think about it, if you know Teddy Long's past with the WWE, you know when he started out with the WWE or at the time WWF, World Wrestling Federation, if you know he started out as a referee. So technically, he's the first ever WWE referee inducted into the Hall of Fame. I just found that exciting. I mean, it's exciting to me, it may not be to you, but
That's
that's
good news though.
but yeah, to answer your question, off of that ramble, um, you got Teddy Long who showed up last night. Pretty much, he was the only one from old school that actually showed up.
Oh, I see.
I recommend watching WWE still, but the product isn't the same only because of the pandemic. I think it's going to get a lot better once the pandemic's done. So, what I say, stay tuned. Hopefully, when the pandemic ends, whenever that does, whenever we can get it under control and we can allow fans back into the arenas, hopefully the product will get better again. Because wrestling, let me just give you a little brief history. Wrestling was created around fans' reactions. Heels go against the fans' modern thinking. So if the fans want you to do something, the heels do the exact opposite to get you to hate them. And if you're a great heel, if you're a perfect heel, someone like AEW's Maxwell Jacob Friedman, you live your gimmick even off camera so that you're in, excuse the terminology. I mean, I apologize for the adult humor, for the adult language rather. But Maxwell Jacob Friedman acts like an asshole no matter where he is because he wants his gimmick to be real. So he overacts so that his gimmick lives past him. And I respect him for this. I respect villains or heels, as we call them in wrestling, to overact and overdo their character to the point that you really do hate them with a passion because that means they're doing their job correctly and that they're getting their point across.
That's true.
I find it, I mean, being a referee, I find it harder to be a face, especially when you're just starting out in a company. You could be wrestling for 12 years, but if you're going to a new company that's never seen you before and the crowd hasn't seen you before outside of a few videos on YouTube,
Hmm.
to be a face, it's a lot harder because you have to try and get them to like you, to love you. I think it's a lot easier to be a heel, and it's a lot more fun to be a heel because you have to do everything in your nature for them to hate you, and you can be more smug than you could ever think. In August, I'm looking to take up bookings, so if anyone's watching and you're a promoter or you know a promoter of a wrestling company on the Northeast and you need a referee, look no further than me. Uh,
There we
my
go.
resume my resume speaks for itself. Look up my videos. I mean, every referee screws up once in a while, so if you run across a video where I might have messed up or I might have botched something horribly, just know that everyone does every once in a while. Even WWE referees do every once in a while. But like I said, if you need a referee, look no further than me. If you want my email, it is bookref bookrefjames at gmail.com. Again, that's bookrefjames at gmail.com. And like I said, if you need an extra referee and you're on the Northeast, look no further than me. I have been doing this for 6.5 years, and I have worked matches with WWE legends and always made them look like $1 million. Or at least I try my very damnedest to make them look like $1 million. I'm not perfect. No referee is perfect, but I don't try and be perfect. I try and just do the best that I can. So if you need a referee, look no further than me. Bookrefjames at gmail.com on the Northeast of the US. All right? I mean, that's just my resume.
That's the way to go.
So, yeah, I mean,
It's-
if you
I,
were to ask me, I'm sorry, you were saying?
absolutely. I like. I've seen you a few times in action. It's in my opinion, it's good. You're always making the main wrestler look great. You know,
Yeah.
that's the main thing. You do your
I,
job, and
yeah.
I've seen
I
you
mean,
maybe 3 times, I think now.
yeah. I mean, I've worked with guys like Brian Myers, who you might know as Kurt Hawkins from WWE. I've worked with the premier athlete Tony Nese, who's currently in the WWE. He was my trainer when I was going to the NYWC. That's the New York Wrestling Connection in Deer Park, New York. He was my trainer before he got signed.
Mm.
So right there, you know I was being trained by the best.
Decent
So
names, good names out there.
yeah,
So,
but yeah, I just love it. It's just something I love to do. Uh, I try my best to do the best that I can. I mean, my favorite match. If you were to ask me, hey James, what was your favorite match you've done thus far in your career? Even though it's only 6 years, 6.5 years, it's not long enough to really have done a lot, but I have.
I mean,
Um,
to be fair though, you can only start at a certain age.
yes,
You've been doing
technically,
this. I mean, you've been involved for years.
yeah,
You've been involved ever since I knew you, which
yeah, I
is a
know,
long time.
yeah.
So, and you know what everything that's going on. You know what's gonna happen. You call the shots. You
In fact, let me give you one funny story. I mean, I know in wrestling it's bad to really speak about the insider knowledge, but you're talking about modern day. Modern day, there's a lot of smart marks out there. Smart marks are the fans that know the insider trade and know what goes on, how to put a match together.
mm,
But let me give you a funny story.
all right.
There was this match. My trainer had just gone face again. Face means fan favorite, baby face. It's also known as. And he's just gone face like maybe 5 months prior. And this was when he was supposed to go back to his original team, which was a villain team. And it was him. It was Rocky Shore was his name.
Mm,
It was Rocky Shore and Dickie Rods versus the Iraqi Butchers. They went by, and this was when he was supposed to transition back to being an Iraqi Butcher. And what had happened was I did the match the way it was done. He tags in his partner and then turns on him, attacks him, and then his opponent grabs the pinfall 1, 2, 3. I counted it perfectly. Match ended. What I didn't know, because I was still green at the time and I was new, what I didn't know at the time was that as soon as his former partner, Dickie Rods, left the ring to head into the back, I was supposed to follow him. What I didn't know was that. So what had happened was he had to show dominance to the crowd so that they hated him. And a referee is supposed to be neutral, so the crowd's not supposed to love him nor hate him. They're supposed to just say, "Hey, don't touch him, don't hurt him." So, like I keep saying, what has happened was that after the match, Rocky ended up taking a kendo stick to me like 3 times, and that hurt.
mm.
That hurt like literally, it hurt.
Now, was that the night that I saw you? Was that the
No,
first wrestling
no.
match
The night
I saw?
the night you the night you saw was we had a triple threat. I believe no, was it a triple threat match for the world title?
It was a good one. It was a good one.
Yeah,
This
okay, yeah.
was
It was a triple threat. It was because at the time the world champion or the Long Island champion that we had was Mark Static, and he was injured, like legitimately injured, and couldn't compete in the match. So storyline states and stipulates that his partner and his fellow partner, Cash Camacho, faces on his own behalf. So Cash Camacho becomes the unofficial official Long Island champion to represent the team and represent Mark Static to try and defend the title. What had happened before that show started that night was that when we were setting up the ring, the rope snapped.
I remember
And
that.
we tried to do the best we could with fixing it temporarily. We did. They did what, like 6 matches beforehand, and the rope was fine.
Absolutely. I remember. So I'm pretty sure I remember they were doing high flying. This is amazing. Like
Yes.
the high flying, and then a rope snaps while they're doing the high flying. I'm pretty sure it
Yeah,
was like mid jump. He land. I'm pretty sure he landed the jump.
he did.
I think he landed the pin, but I don't know if he actually pinned him. But I know he landed a good jump, and then it ended up snapping.
Now, I could have been wrong. It may not have been Cash, but regardless, what had
Mhm.
happened was they went like Sean just said. They went for a high flying move. He landed it, and then Robbie Rebel. I will not forget this. Robbie Rebel went to run the ropes to perform a move, and the rope snapped. The top rope snapped. Now, what I should have done, like I said, I was still green. I mean, this was like my 4th year in the company, but I still consider myself green. What I should have done, which I didn't, if you watch my video on my YouTube channel, just type in Mark Static versus Robbie Rebel. It's one of the videos. I mean, they faced each other like 5 or 6 times, but it's one of the videos. Um, what I should have done was back Mark Static off and then secretly checked on him and been like, Robbie, are you all right? Are you all right? And if he said no, stop the match. Yeah, I would have gotten heat for it. I would have gotten yelled at for it, but that's like the professional thing to do. What I didn't do was that. I ended up just basically briefly checking on him and counting him down and letting the match continue.
Did
Now,
you?
the reason
Did
why
he?
I
Oh, my bad.
continue.
Did he
No,
end
no,
up
continue.
sustaining any injuries that night?
Luckily, no.
Oh
Luckily,
no.
no. Only a whiplash on the back. That's it.
He puts on a great show, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
He puts on a great show.
yeah. That's another reason why I enjoyed working for a company like East Coast Professional Wrestling. I mean, yeah, they have their own faults, but then again, what wrestling company on the face of the planet truly doesn't have faults at one point or another? Now, I'm not going to get into dirty dirt sheets about anything because that's in the past. I have a lot of respect for everyone in wrestling. I don't want to burn bridges. I don't want to do anything like that. I have a lot of respect. Um, but to change the topic a little bit,
Mm,
the reason why I bring up the fact of the rope snapped and all this minor injury was that I did one show for Victory Pro Wrestling. In fact, it was like the second to last show prior to the emergency pandemic shutting down wrestling and everything. Um, it was the semifinals leading into the finals in the same night of what we call the King of New York. And there was one match in particular that I want all of you to check out whenever you get the chance. Look up Victory Pro Wrestling, J Delta versus Lance Anderson. Now, let me give you a little bit of a backstory about inside wrestling and what was supposed to happen that night. What was supposed to happen was that J Delta ends up beating Lance Anderson, furthering him into the tournament, into the finals. Then Stockade goes into his match, wins, goes into the finals, and then faces J Delta. and then ends up winning the match and the entire tournament, becoming the new king of New York. What happened was that Jay Delta in his match, there was one point at the very end that I mean, I wasn't refereeing it. I wasn't the referee, but I was there watching backstage on the monitor. There was one point in the match where he was on the apron, on the outside apron of the ring, and he was knocked off. He was only supposed to like smack his hand on the barricade to make the effect look like he hit his face. What happened was he legitimately hit his face into the barricade, breaking his nose.
Ooh.
Had I been the referee, knowing this now in hindsight 2020, not at the moment, but after the fact, what I would have done had I been the referee and I saw something like that happen right in front of me, I would have literally before I started counting, held back his opponent, Lance Anderson. I would have left the ring, went to Jay Delta, right up to his ear, where the fans can't hear me, but he does, and been like, Jay, are you all right? Can you continue, or do you want me to call for the medics? Because on hand at every show, we always have the medic at standby in case anything like this happens. So I would ask him, Jay, do you want me to call for the medics? And that's what I would have done. At that point, I would have called for the bell, ended the match, no contest.
Absolutely. In like any fight like that, any fight,
What,
any
yeah,
sport, if
what the referee of that match didn't do was that he
it,
just started counting him out.
mm,
So Jay Delta wanted to continue the story. He eventually, at like the count of 7 or 8, crawled back into the ring and then won the match, and then was immediately pulled from the finals because of his injury. He was concussed and had a broken nose, so he couldn't go into the finals.
yeah, once they need medical attention, someone's gotta call medical, get medical in there.
And he wanted to continue into the finals, but he just couldn't. The promoter said, Jay, I'm sorry, you're just not doing it. Doctors say you're not medically cleared. So what happened was Stockade still did his match. Stockade won his match, and we needed someone quickly. This is why a wrestling company should always have a plan B. Shoot for plan A with where you want your story to go, but always have a plan B in the back so that if something happens, something crucial happens, and that person can't continue for whatever reason, you always have someone else to replace him.
And
We were in a crunch. We didn't have anybody on our mind for a plan B. So what had happened was the main event happened. This is why I hated the main event, and it's not because of Stockade. It's not because of anyone in particular. It's just because of the way the match went. I hated this main event because of the way it ended up being, which was that, like I said, we were scrambling for a replacement for Jay Delta for the main event, and they finally came up with a thing. The Inner Circle, which is the heel faction that we had, which comprised of the commissioner, general manager, whatever title you want to give him, he was to come out, introduce the replacement being Lance Anderson. Lance Anderson would then get replaced after being attacked from behind by Kevin Tibbs. Kevin Tibbs would show up in the ring, start the match, and get speared 1, 2, 3. So the main event only lasted maybe 30 seconds to 45 seconds.
that's always rough to watch.
Literally,
That's rough to
uh,
watch.
the main event could have gone at least 8 minutes to 12 minutes. Easily, easily.
You always like
But
to
they won.
watch something like nice and long.
But especially with a build up like that, where it took 2 shows to finish the tournament, you always wanted to mean something, but yet a 30 to 45-second match means jack shit. It didn't mean anything. And it wasn't Stockade's fault, wasn't the promoter's fault. It was just the cards we were dealt with. So I can't blame anyone in particular. It's just the night that it ended up being. But I just didn't like the main event for that reason.
That's
But
true.
I mean, like I said, that's been my career, 6.5 years. So one more time, if you ever need a referee, look no further than Ref James Balash right here. And if you need me, reach out to me at bookrefjames@gmail.com. Um, Anything else?
No, I mean, I'm waiting. What is it? 10 o'clock? He gets on, Elon.
Uh, no. You really want to know?
What time?
11:30.
11:30. Okay, okay. I'm sitting. I'm waiting. That's it.
I know, because I want to see if he influences in a good way or in a bad way. I mean, if it goes up or if it goes down. I mean, I want it to go up, of course, but it is what it is. Whatever the result ends up being.
All right. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the night. Unless you got anything else, any other cool topics, we're gonna have to start up again, and
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get more material going.
Nothing else, but just always stay tuned here on Sean's YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe, and click that bell notification icon so that you always are notified as soon as we drop another video. And if you like this, please share this wherever you can. Like the video, like I said, and press the bell notification icon so that you are always notified when we drop another video. Um, yeah, and also follow me on Instagram at the wrestling underscore experience. Again, that's at the wrestling underscore experience on Instagram. Do you have a Instagram or social media you want to plug?
No, that's perfect right there. I'm thinking, what is it? So I don't know if you want to have it on your YouTube too. We'll set it up. Set it up where we both have it on ours. We'll both link it to both of our channels.
Well, for now, just
Yeah, I'll send
click the
you.
bell notification on icon on this channel. Further information we'll let you know in a future video.
All right.
Thank you again. Have a good night, everyone, and talk to you all in the next video.
Have a good night.